Hi guys, we made it. Hopefully we'll have sound through the whole thing. Wouldn't that be a nice change this week? But but you know what? We still haven't figured out why it keeps doing that. But whatever. We can fix it. That's the good thing. Today we're going to paint "Be Kind" because I think we all need a gentle reminder. Things have been really rough. I mean, every place, people watching hospital numbers go up, and there's a lot of stress on people right now, and I think we needed a gentle reminder. We also needed something simple and fun to paint, so I thought that this would be a good one. This is an older pattern. I did this one, I think, originally back in 2013. That's an old pattern. It's been reworked a couple of times and refreshed and refurbed, and I did it yet again. The other day when I downloaded it, figured, ooh, this would be fun. I didn't like the lettering in it, so I thought it'd be a good time to update that too. So in the download, there's included some alternate lettering for you. So we put that in there. It needed an update, needed to be modernized a little bit. It was just a little meh. So fixed that up. And I, for the life of me, could not find a 10 by 10 wood surface with the grooves in it. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to show you how you can do a faux version of it. So we're going to do that as well as paint some bumblebees and some fun new lettering and some simple wreath. It's really not a difficult piece to paint. It is fun to do. I threw in a few extra little techniques, and I think we'll have a good time with that today. And it is soggy today. It rained most of the night, and it was nice and cool. So we had the windows open, and all of the automatic fans in the house kept turning on in the middle of the night because the humidity was so high. So now we've got the house closed up tight. We've got the dehumidifiers running, and we've got the heat pump running just to take the dampness out of the house because it's really sticky. It's ick. Horrible today and gray. It's not a pretty day at all. And even Dot just sort of went, you know what? I'm going out to poop, and then I'm coming in, and that's it. I'm not staying out. She didn't want to be outside today.
No.
And she always wants to be outside. So poor Dot. Lots of messages.
Second. You should be live.
Okay, guys, hopefully we're back. Don't know what happened, but our computer just shut down. So that kind of, I have no idea why. I got nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, you can keep talking. I'll be setting up.
So hopefully you can see me. So somebody could let us know in the chat whether or not we can see. You good? Okay, good. Whew. Sorry about that, guys. Technical computer just decided to restart for whatever reason. So the cameras are on a separate computer from the main computer. So we have one that's just dedicated to running the lives. And yeah, it decided to reset. So I was talking about our weekend. I went to the art festival in Shediac while my husband was participating in a dart championship or dart competition. And we had met up with some amazing artists. There was a couple, a fabulous landscape watercolorist. I met him in front of a sushi place. They had artists sort of set up all over town, all along the main drag, and just in simple little spots where you could just walk up and you could talk to them and watch them work. And it was fantastic. So I got to meet this fabulous watercolor artist. His work was beautiful. He was painting basically scenes from around the city, which was wonderful to see, especially in watercolor. You don't see people doing that very often. And spoke with a young man that was an absolutely amazing chalk artist. He was painting one of the images from the Sistine Chapel onto the walkway in the center of the park. It was absolutely amazing, and he was there the whole 3 days and completed it the last day, which was insane because it was at least 6 or 7 feet tall. It was incredible. And the streets, they had buckets of chalk arranged all over the park in the middle of the town. and on all of the walkways, so kids could just grab a bucket of chalk and create, and it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Got to walk through a few of the galleries and whatnot in the town of Shediac, and the presentations were amazing. So I had a fabulous weekend. We enjoyed ourselves immensely. We had dinner with some family, and in general just relaxed and enjoyed ourselves. Took a long walk on the beach and took in some of the sights around town. It was wonderful. So that was my weekend last weekend. And Renee and I filmed a cute little daisy piece I thought would have been fun for you guys. We filmed that just before I left. So you guys had something to paint last weekend. And that was fun. So had a great weekend. And then it's been a busy week getting ready for today. And Renee's been working. He was working hockey games and whatnot last night.
Yay!
And he's working another hockey game tonight. So, but today we are going to paint Be Kind. And Renee is going to...
Your bull cozy.
Oh my, yes, I got Happy Mail this week. So I get to send out a big hug and big much love to Denise Van Newkirk. She sent me the most amazing bowl cozy. It is the cutest thing ever. I'm a big soup fan, love soup any time of year. It's one of my favorite meals. And she made me a bowl cozy for my soup bowl, and it's covered with skulls. It's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. And it's skull season. I'm so happy. I love Halloween. I love skull season. That's what I call it, because I get to see all the skulls. The sugar skulls come out. Everything's skulls. Love my skulls. I'm even wearing skull leggings today.
Are you?
I are, yes. My leggings are covered in skulls.
Sheila Landry, does she sell them?
I don't know if she does or not. They're fabulous, though. It is super cute. I know I know a lot of people that make them. I've tried making them, and the end result was I required stitches, not the sewing thing. So I don't sew because I have to have 911 on speed dial. I sew myself to things, so that's not a good thing. So we're going to paint Be Kind. I like this piece. This is a fun piece to paint. It's super easy. It's not difficult, but it is a lot of fun. And I'm in the right frame of mind. Even my mug says Be Kind. So
You have to move.
I gotta move that way. There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
So if you guys are ready to get started, so am I.
You're just a giggle factory today.
I'm sorry. Gonna send out gentle hugs to Linda Safranco. Linda took a tumble the other day, and they think she might have cracked a couple of ribs. So I know she's probably pretty sore. The camera's freaking out. Yes, it is. Now it stopped. Now it's freaking out.
That's also on a delay.
Okay. Now it's freaking out again.
That's on a delay. You're good.
Okay. Yay. These cameras, I kid you not, they're so sensitive. They're so sensitive. So,
Yeah, just leave it right there. One tweak.
Okay.
What is up? Stop it, camera.
What's the camera doing now?
It's just
Oh my gosh.
a great thing. And I don't know why you're doing it. Why you do this to me? No, I just made it worse.
There's monsters in the machine.
Yeah.
Ghosts in the machine. That's what the term is. So some days we just have cameras dropping off, pick it back up,
Stop it.
computers stopping, restarting.
Stop it. Stop. Mhm.
Okay.
Bear with me, this camera is just being a... Whoa.
Any other day, right?
No, see, that I can fix.
There we go.
this I can fix. Give me a second. And, okay, I can't fix it. Fix the screen. There we go. Oh, maybe I should, You're good.
I'm good now?
You're good.
Okay. Okay, so to start, the gremlins, yes, there's gremlins. You know, sometimes I think when the humidity's high, my washing machine does weird things. You know, electronics and humidity.
Acid flashbacks? Sheila.
Well, she's from Chicago.
Oh.
So the base for this is Country Red. I've got just one coat down. It doesn't need to be perfect. And we're going to use the top coat. Now, in the original pattern, it used some chalky finish paints, which was a Rouge and a Heritage, I believe. And those colors are, one, difficult to find, especially right now. So I am going to suggest you use Antique Gold. We just need sort of an aged yellow. I can't even talk today. So I'm going to use some Antique Gold, and I put Country Red down. I just need a nice deep red on that. And I'm going to...
What's going on?
I have no idea.
We're back?
Are we back? Back but fuzzy? Is that what that says?
Yeah, back but fuzzy.
So I'm just putting, much like I do that barn board technique, I'm just using my fuzzy brush.
Fuzzy brush.
My fuzzy brush. See, I saw the word fuzzy now. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm just putting down a coat of this Antique Gold. You could use mustard seed or any one of those more antique type yellows, like a golden yellow, not a bright yellow, but... And it's not a neat application. I want to keep all of these lines and stria in there. And I'm going to cover that red. But you can still see all these lines in there, which is just fine. Just like that. So neatness doesn't count. Perfection is to be avoided at all costs. We do not want perfect coverage. We just want some of these brush marks, etc.
Yeah, Tracy, you're not allowed to comment on how well the live stream is going. You jinxed it.
Okay. From now on, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about the live stream. I'm just going to talk paint. I don't do technical crap. So I'm going to dry this. I do have a great giveaway for you guys this week. Faye Reed, lovely lady.
Oh, and she's in the chat.
Hey, Faye, nice to see you. How was the island? Faye went on vacation to the islands. So, Faye sent me a question the other day about angled wave brushes. And I love angled waves. They're a great brush to work with, create all sorts of interesting textures, and you can float with them. You can do a wide range of things with them. But it gave me a great idea, and so I decided I would dig through all of the brushes that Dynasty has given me to give away, and lo and behold, I found 3 sets of angled wave shaders. So that's the giveaway for this week. There are 3 sets. There's 3 different sizes in each set. So 3 of you are going to win a set of those. And what did we do on the website this week? We have that new clearance section on the website. And for the paid members, you might have noticed that the paid membership download on the website has moved. It's now right in the menu at the top of the page. So you don't have to scroll through the drop down. It's right there. All you have to do is click on it. So if you are a paid member, all you have to do is click on that bar in the top menu and it will take you right to your downloads. And we put up a new one yesterday. there's a new download for the paid members. Where did I put it? There it is. And so for the paid members, this pattern is yours, free. It's in your paid membership downloads. You'll be able to find that on the website. So if you don't have to, again.
Buffer again, buffer.
So that's all I want, is just to wear through in a few places so that you can get little bits of that red peeking through. And then I'm going to wipe away some of that dust.
Don't know why it's buffering. It's not our end. It's got to be YouTube.
Is it still recording though, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
We're still recording.
So, the next step, we want to create those grooves in the board to make it look. So I'm going to run some tape in the same direction as those lines, like so. And I'm going to leave about a 1/8 space, 1/8 of an inch space between the tapes, right there. About 1/8 of an inch. And I'm thinking, I like to have 3. Some of them have 4, but I like to have 3, odd number. And they don't have to be perfect. And they don't have to be even. I think it's more interesting if they're not, meaning that they're not evenly spaced on the surface.
Different width boards, different.
Yeah, exactly. It makes things more interesting. So,
Board. It's a barn board.
So you're going to end up with, of course, I ripped the tape too short.
No.
I'll just tape it to the edge of my table. I'll use it for something at some point.
Oh, coffee so good.
So now I have 3 grooves, approximately 1/8 of an inch wide. They don't have to be perfect. Perfect's boring. So I'm going to grab a stencil brush. And some asphaltum. And we're going to create those grooves by putting a little asphaltum on that tape. Neatness doesn't count. Perfection is to be avoided at all costs. Just like that. And I'm going to do all 3 of these. Comme ça. And hopefully this will turn out. It should. No reason why it wouldn't.
Playing against Dalhousie University.
So Dalhousie University is playing against whom? UNB? Yeah. So the town I live in New Maryland, which is just outside of Fredericton, New Brunswick. And Fredericton is our provincial capital. It is the home of our provincial legislature, etc. But it is also a university town.
Yeah.
We have, what is it, 4 or 5 universities? 2
5
colleges.
universities and 3 colleges.
3 colleges, yeah. So yes, it is a college town, university town. So we have UNB, St. Mary's. There's a
UNB Law.
UNB Law at the Forestry School. The Forestry School is part of UNB.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot. I think St. Thomas has so we have a lot of schools here. So through the winter, lots of hockey games.
Yeah.
And as the kids have gone back in the last couple of weeks, so this is, I think, probably one of the first games they've been playing so far this season. So
yesterday was their second preseason game.
Second preseason game. Wow. So All right, so we have grooves. And I'm going to dry this real quick. Make sure these are good and dry. And now we have to make this look a little bit more realistic. So we're going to do that with a little bit of asphaltum over everything. And I'm going to use a high-tech applicator for that. High-tech applicator is 2 pieces of shop towel. One scrumbled up like this and tucked into the other. Et voila, high-tech applicator. So I'm going to get that wet. You want it wet, not dripping, just wet. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of asphaltum. And I'm going to go all the way around the outside edge. Like so.
High-tech applicator.
Well, it is.
Super high-tech.
Super high-tech. So this is going to do 2 things. It's going to age the outside edge of my boards. And it's going to settle into some of those brush marks. So that when I come back over this, there we go.
Oh yeah, I was talking to one of the university professors at the hockey game last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked what tuition would be to get my a doctorate in animal behavior.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. I don't have that money. I'm surprised anybody has that money.
Yep. That is, university is
It's a 6-year
expensive.
program.
It is. Well, it's a doctorate.
Yeah, but it's not in veterinary science. It's just in animal behavior studies.
So you could, you know,
Go to a
you
zoo
could have a
and
collie on a couch and
tell him why he's on the couch. Not how to get him off. That's where the dog training comes in. Tell you why he
I
likes
just
to
have
come.
visions of this, you know, an animal psychologist or a psychiatrist, you know, telling me
No,
about your
no.
relationship with your mother. That, I don't know. That whole thing just strikes me very funny.
Animal behavior and psychology is weird. It's a matter of why they do things.
Of course. You have to understand their
that's
behaviors.
all it is why do horses fling their tail from left to right and not right to left?
Okay. Okay, so I've got asphaltum over everything, and what that does is it just accentuates those brush marks and makes it look a bit more realistic. It also darkens the outside edge a little bit, and we're going to enhance that. We're going to come down these sides. I need my...
Tracy knows so much about painting, she needs to write a book. She has.
5 of them.
5 of them.
They're all out of print.
Oh.
Yeah. What I should do, though, is somebody had a really good idea just to fill it up with tips, techniques, and, you know, various little tricks of the trade type thing. But so many teachers have their own little tricks. And there's so many little things that can save you time, save you money. Having worked in commercial finishing, I think, has made a difference because you learn how to do things quickly, I think.
Efficiently.
Efficiently, that's the word. So I'm just putting a float down one side of each of these lines. Oops, managed to pick up some yellow paint there. I don't want that.
You don't want yellow?
I don't want yellow. It's too light. There we go. So I'm going to do this on both sides because it's going to accentuate that, you know, that aged board look.
I would definitely buy that book. There's 5 of them out there. There's a bunch. Do you have all 5? Do you have a copy of all 5 at least?
Yeah, I do somewhere.
Okay.
I'd have to dig them out, but I've been doing this a long time.
5 books.
Oh, you know what? 5 books is a drop in the bucket. Peggy Harris, I think Peggy's lost count of how many she's done. Maxine Thomas, I think she's on like book 21 or 22. Same with Jamie Mills Price. They've been producing books for years. Okay, so I've got a float
Of asphaltum.
of asphaltum on both sides of that groove that we've stuck in there.
Scan them in and make them PDF files.
It's not a bad idea.
Sell them as digital.
Actually, I think I have the digital files somewhere.
Yeah.
I think what I'd like to do is redo them because, well, a lot of it is outdated and, colors have changed over the years. I think that. But yeah,
But your videos are more fun than the books.
I'd like to do an ebook. I think an ebook would be fun. So I'm going to float each one of these boards on both ends, like so.
That's technically what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Your YouTube channel is a giant ebook.
It is I suppose so, yeah. So I'm just floating around the edges of this, just putting a darker shadow along the outside edge. You notice I'm not worrying too much about the accuracy because I've got tape down here, but obviously if you're working on a fixed surface, then you're going to be a little more careful about where you place the color.
That camera is slowly drooping down.
He's gonna tighten it. The camera's gonna freak out here again, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna freak out.
So this is gonna look messy until I'm finished doing this part.
Everybody remember the 70s? Yeah. We get.
If we had any fun at all in the 70s, we wouldn't remember it.
There we go. You're good.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got my shadow shading done on all of these boards all the way around, but we do need to put a highlight on these boards. So we're going to do that with
You can push it up a little bit.
a rigger.
There you go.
And I'm going to make a slightly lighter value of that base color just by adding a little bit of warm white to some of that antique gold. I don't want to use it too bright. I think white itself would be too much. So I'm just going to put a fine little highlight, an imperfect highlight on the edge of my boards. Right on that edge. There we go. And I'm choosing one side. I don't want this to be one straight line. It needs to be broken up a bit because otherwise it looks like a bright line down one side. You don't really want that. It's just enough to define it. So I'm using my rigger on the chisel edge. You can use a ultrafine liner, whatever you're comfortable with to put this line in. And again, I'm not worried too much about it being a perfect line. I just want to get a highlight on that edge. So that gives us a little bit more realism. And I know that it looks super messy right now because of all this tape, so I'm going to take the tape off. Because, oh goodness, I'm just working on a piece of MDF. I keep these 12 by 12 MDF boards in the studio for doing samples. And they work really, really well. So I'm going to pull the tape off so that you can see that a clean finish. It looks so much better once we get that tape off.
Yay.
Yay! So there we have our 10 by 10 board. Zup.
Yep. What do we got here? We got... Oh! Today is my 45th anniversary with my hubby.
And you're spending it with me?
That is Susan Kaltenbach.
Well, Susan, happy anniversary. That is an achievement in this day and age to remain married that long. My husband and I will be married
36.
36 years this year.
Like how,
I was doing the math. He figured it out faster than I did. It's like, wait a minute, I've lost count.
36 years.
36 years. So that's how simple it is to do that.
November 13th.
What? No. November 4th.
4th?
Yes.
I always thought it was 13th.
No, it's the 4th.
Oh, well.
So once you have this done and dry, you're ready to trace and transfer your line drawing on. And line drawing is just that simple wreath. It is not an elaborate piece. I have mine all prepped through the magic of television. I don't know who used to say that, but somebody did. I forget who it was.
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday this year. Woo-woo. Good. What?
My birthday's on a hump day.
Oh, it's on Wednesday?
It's on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Renee has a birthday coming up. On
49 years in November for Kathy Gunther.
Wow.
53 years. 48. Wow.
It's a long time to be married to somebody.
No kidding. How are they not dead?
I don't know.
53. Holy crap. That's 62?
Congratulations. 62 years.
Kidding.
So I have, I've traced on just the wreath. I leave the lettering towards the end. Actually, we're going to do the lettering after we do the wreath. Then we're going to do the bumblebees because we want to layer everything one on top of the other. So this is a super simple piece to paint because it's just a base coat. Every leaf is the same color. So I've got 2 coats of antique green on each of these leaves. And we're going to shade them using my favorite green, plantation pine. If you don't have plantation pine and you happen to have some of the media fluid acrylics around, grab some of that sap green. The stuff, I love sap green. It's almost empty. So we're going to use plantation pine. I'm almost out of sap green. Can you believe it? Maybe I've got a bottle somewhere. I don't know. Maybe. So we're going to shade all of these leaves at the bottom with a float of plantation pine. So I'm keeping it really simple. This is not a difficult piece. We're just putting that little C-shaped or U-shaped float at the bottom of the leaf on all of these leaves. And we'll probably do it twice just so that we get a nice deep shadow. But it's a super easy, it's a great way to practice your floats too, as to get that nice U shape. This would be referred to as a C-stroke.
I got married when I was 17.
Wow.
Wow.
So, little float.
Tammy, married for 0 years.
So Renee is going to put all the names into that spinny thing of his and start pulling up some...
The Wheel of Names.
The wheel of names. You got to come up with a better one than that.
That's what it's called.
The Wheel of
thewheelofnames.com.
Okay. Okay. A random generator. It looks like something out of Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. I kid you not. And it throws confetti and woohoo! Yay! Makes nifty sounds when he turns up the computer. So, I mean, this is super simple. This little floated shadow at the base of those leaves. And I wanted to get them fairly dark so that they would pop off this surface. And you'll notice that I base coated all of the berries with warm white. You can do that with warm white, or you can do it with a little bit of gesso. It's just, the berries are going to be red, and I really wanted them to pop. So I put a little bit of white down so that that red really shows up nicely.
Make sure I hit the right button.
Now, this wreath doesn't look very full. And that seems to be popular in a lot of decor these days, these sort of lacy looking wreaths. I like them when they're a bit more full, but I wanted to show you a couple of techniques for making things appear to be full without actually filling up, putting in a ton more leaves or having to put in a whole bunch of other colors. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just a sec once we finish shading these. And that little bit of dark green on those leaves changes these leaves nicely. And we're going to use matcha green to put a little highlight at the tip. So matcha green is the color of choice for these tiny little leaves.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, he spun it.
I didn't spin it yet.
No? Still putting names in
I have
it.
to shuffle the names so
Aha.
that they're everywhere.
Gotcha.
Now I can spin it.
I don't know if you guys can hear it. His head's moving with every click. Lori Widdenmeyer. You've got a set of angled shaders coming your way, those wave angled shaders. So if you can go to the website and scroll down to the lower right-hand corner of the home page, and you can click on the little speech bubble that is down there and send us your shipping information. We will have your brushes out to you on Monday. If you've been on the website in the last couple of days, you might have noticed that we've made a small change to the homepage. And so now there is a space so that whenever we're doing a live, you don't have to go searching everywhere for the pattern. You can find it right on the front page, along with all of the newest designs that we've put up there. So there's, we've added a few things. We added some stuff to the free pattern downloads. And we've added some stuff to the educational materials section, so there's more downloads in there. So there's lots of stuff there that you can download that is available to you, whether or not you're a paid member. It's available to everyone who visits the site. So,
well, there's other goodies in there too.
Oh, there's always other goodies in there too. He's shaking the envelopes.
There's brushes.
Yep.
There might be a pin and a keychain in there.
Lots of goodies. We just got some more keychains in.
We ran out of stickers for the...
We did run out of stickers. I have more ordered. So, okay. So I think I've got all, missed one leaf right there. So I've got a little shadow at the base of all of these leaves. You can have a look, and if there's any that you feel need to be touched up, you can go back in with a second float.
Picture is out of focus. Nope, all cameras are in focus.
It could just be
It could just
YouTube.
be internet connection.
Yeah. Or it could just be YouTube.
Or it could just be YouTube. YouTube
Is wonky today.
is wonky today, yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of new features coming to YouTube, so there'll be the feature for you guys to use.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new stuff coming up, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to dry this real quick. We're going to put a highlight on the tips of these leaves. I'm going to use a little bit of matcha green for this. But any green, margarita, any bright, olive green, you can do that with. Super easy. I've got some matcha green. I like this color. I'm partial to it. So the highlight goes on the tip of the...
No.
Got a schmegly.
Schmiggly.
Schmigly. It's a technical term for something icky in your brush or your paint. It's a schmegly.
Technical term. Okay.
So I'm just putting a small highlight at the tip. Basically doing the opposite of what I did with the... This doesn't want to work. There we go. So just a lighter value towards the tip of the leaf.
I won't be able to zoom in because she moves it too much.
I move it too much. And we can't zoom in all that far with this either. But it's just a simple little float on the tip of the leaf. Like so.
Did you learn that from the Acadians last weekend?
What, schmegly?
Schmiggly?
No, actually, you might laugh, but we actually used to use that in commercial finishing. A schmegly is those snotty, gooey things in your paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call them gun boogers.
Gun boogers, yeah.
Yeah. It's dried paint that ends up on the tip of your air gun that gets thrown at your project.
Yeah. It's a schmegly.
I call them gun boogers.
Now, there is a technique that I had thought about the other day that I don't see talked about very often. And I wanted to talk about that. Just got to find the right color. Where's my green? There it is. So I used antique green for my base.
I call them paint boogers.
Paint boogers.
Paint boogers. A lot of people call them paint boogers.
Schmeglies.
Like goobers? Okay.
So if you're having trouble getting a smooth highlight onto things, or a smooth float on things, this is an old technique. You don't see it very often anymore, but it's a double load. And essentially you put your base color on the heel of the brush and your highlight color on the toe of the brush. And then that way you don't get that, that funky, irregular float.
Molly Ann has got a mammogram scheduled shortly.
Ooh! Well, fingers crossed, Molly Ann. Hopefully that goes well.
She's just popping in to say hi.
It is not the most pleasant experience having a mammogram, but, important for your health and well-being. So, considering that it is only mildly uncomfortable for a short period of time, well, mildly is an understatement, but...
My friend named her cat Goober.
Goober? Goober is a peanut.
What?
That's what goobers are. They're peanuts.
What?
Yeah. A goober is a peanut.
When did that happen?
That is an old expression. So there we go.
painting so long enough to remember that double load and I often use it.
Yep. A double load is handy when you're having trouble getting a float to do what you want it to do.
Why is the live chat under the video instead of the side?
I don't know.
Not a clue.
Would depend on what she's viewing on, if it's her computer or
Yeah, if
a
you're
tablet or...
depends on what you're watching it on. And if you're watching it on a desktop, it could be buffering again. No, not our end. We're all good. If you're watching it on a desktop, it could be you could be in theater mode.
Oh, yeah. Or on a TV. I've seen it on a TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goobers sure don't look like peanuts. Raisinets in the USA are called glossettes here in Canada.
Yeah.
Yep. We actually have both.
Yep.
Here. We have raisinets and glossettes.
Yep.
Both are delicious.
Ah! I made a mess.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I made a mess because my brush is overloaded and needs to be cleaned out, and I was being lazy and didn't do it.
Ah.
There we go. So yeah, so that little highlight on the end, like I said, I used matcha green, but you can use whatever green you like. If you like olive green instead, by all means, go for it.
How did you tag me like that? Tagging, you just put an @ sign and then type the name
Yep.
that you want the person to tag. It should come up with a drop down of the people with that name.
There you go.
Ooh.
Somebody messaging me.
Who dat?
It was just the website notification. So I've got my highlight on. I missed a couple of leaves here. Jeepers.
I think the butter chicken conversations were better because now I want candy.
I tried a new recipe the other day for peanut butter oatmeal cookies. And it was the oddest recipe I've seen in a long time. It's not, when you're making cookies, you don't often see a recipe that requires melted butter for cookies. It's usually you have to whip your sugars together,
Yeah.
Whip your butter with the sugars and the peanut butter and all of that. This one required melted butter, and which I thought was rather odd. But it actually made a rather nice cookie, more like an oat cake than a traditional cookie, but still really good. It was a very good cookie. So how did we get on the subject of cookies? Oh, we were talking about recipes. That's
Yeah, we were talking about candy and
candy
then butter
and
chicken came
butter
up.
chicken came up. That's something I haven't made in a few weeks. Butter chicken.
It's such a good food. It is.
That's okay. We're having meatloaf tonight.
Yay!
Homemade meatloaf.
We're doing. We went from
Peanut butter cookies. Butter chicken.
East Indian cuisine to North American.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Definitely very North American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's North American.
So I'm going to move on to these berries. These are super easy. They're just a little bit of country red over top of that white. Just going to make sure that I cover all of it. Oh my gosh. I got to switch to a different brush because obviously I can't paint with a round today. I'm going to use my rigger because I made a mess of that.
See, if anybody saw my Google search history, they'd just scratch their head and like, where the fuck? Pardon me? Where does this kid's mind go?
Kid.
I'm a child.
Yeah, true. That's very true. So I'm just base coating these berries with a little country red. I switched over to a rigger to base coat them because I was making a mess of them. They were not nice and round, and I want them nice and round. And I also wanted them bright. That's why I put that coat of white down first, so that I ended up with nice bright berries. Now, you don't have to do these berries in red. You could do them in white or green or whatever color you want. Kind of pretty with blue. Like a blueberry would be pretty. But I like the red, especially on this yellow background. It stands out nicely. And I like it with those green leaves. I don't know, it just pops out. I like it.
Meatloaf is typically known as the culinary scrap heap.
Yeah, basically. And I've made meatloaf the same way for years.
Yeah, in the spirit of many casseroles and shepherd's pie.
Yep.
Yeah. It's...
You know, the whole point behind it was to use what you had on hand.
It was a way to stretch out your proteins during the winter.
Yep.
A ragtag orchestra of ingredients on the verge of expiration.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wrote this? This is great.
No, meatloaf.
Yeah.
My mother had a recipe for meatloaf, and she used to use homemade breadcrumbs. So, like, you used all the stale bread. She would cube it all up and pan fry it, and that got mixed in with your meatloaf. And over the years, I liked that recipe because it was never dry. The meatloaf was never dry. And then one day I came across a recipe that was on, of all things, a box of stuffing.
Oh, that would be good.
I have made it that way ever since.
You've been using stuffing?
I use stovetop stuffing. You mix it in with your ground
like
beef.
Like Stouffer's?
Like Stouffer's, yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
That's why it's so good.
Yep. You just mix that in with your ground beef and an egg and top it with tomato sauce and put it in the oven. And I have made it that way ever since. I came across it and it just reminded me of my mother's, and it was just so good.
One of the oldest American meatloaf recipes dates back to the 1870s.
Not surprised.
Not surprised.
Yep.
It was typically served as a breakfast food.
Yeah. Not surprised by that either. Yep. Good old-fashioned meatloaf. There's been many jokes told about meatloaf.
The original meatloaf recipe calls for veal, breadcrumbs, and eggs.
Yep.
It wasn't until the 1950s that ground beef was used in exorbitant amounts due to licensing programs for hunting deer.
Yep.
Veal
Deer meat.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. Always interesting to find out the history of certain foods, eh? Just like I had the weirdest thing happen one time. I had been looking for a recipe. We were talking to a couple of people, and a friend of a friend of a friend of a relative popped up and gave me a recipe. It turned out to be my grandmother's recipe.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I have my grandmother's recipe for war cake.
Ooh. I like war cake.
Yep. And it's an old one, but it's so good.
There's a lot of people going, ooh, stuffing and meatloaf. Gotta try it.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Using that old fat, it was on a box of stuffing years ago.
My family calls meatloaf dirt loaf.
Dirt loaf. Okay. Okay, so I've got my berries base coated. I'm going to dry this real quick, and then we're going to talk about shading it. Now, in the original pattern, I believe that I used soft black to shade these berries. So I'm going to grab me some soft black. And I have a little bit of warm white. Now, I'm also going to, I'm going to show you a little trick. I've got some orange. And
You gotta top your meatloaf with ketchup and dried onions.
yes.
Because you get a nice crust with the sugars from the ketchup. And it adds a nice flavor.
I can't find soft black.
Yeah, you could use tomato paste if you don't like the sweetness.
Tomato paste is good too.
Yep.
Just in this house, they like their sweet.
Mhm.
I gotta find a bottle of soft black.
What?
Yeah, I can't.
How are you out of soft black?
I don't know.
Don't you have like a gallon of it?
Probably. There it is.
Ta-da!
I had to go to the cabinet.
Chalk cherries.
Choke cherries.
Ketchup is throw up.
You know what? It's not quite throw up. It's just not I'm not a fan of
A
ketchup.
lot of people don't use it right.
I don't care for ketchup either, so. So I'm going to show you these berries. They're real pretty with the red, but I really like punching them up a little bit. So I'm going to add a highlight. Ordinarily, I would just use some warm white, but I'm going to show you how to really heat these up and give them a nice pop by putting a little bit of orange flame on them.
I was gonna say that looks orange.
Oh, it's orange. It's very orange.
Use tomato sauce. Yeah, absolutely. Got them all talking about meatloaf.
Yeah.
Brown gravy.
Ooh, now see, that I'd be all over like white rice. White on rice. I love brown gravy.
That to me just sounds more like a hot hamburger.
Yeah. But I'm more savory than sweet. Yeah. I tend to lean towards things. So I'm going to take a little float of that orange flame on one side of the berry. Like so. And I'm coming in just a little bit from the edge. So there's still a little red peeking through. So it's just a little float. And this is where you're going to keep your surface in one location. You don't want to be moving your surface right now because it'll change your highlights. So I'm not turning my surface. I want all the highlights to be in the right place. So in from the edge, just a little bit, and you're going to put a float on that covers about half that berry. Like so.
Oh, now they're sharing recipes. Oh, a light dusting of Tony Chatri's Creole seasoning.
Was that Linda?
It was not Linda.
No? And Renee loves Tony Chatri's Creole seasoning, by the way.
It was a Linda. It was Linda Morgan.
Ah, okay.
It was not
Linda Safranco?
Linda Safranco. Oh, yeah. Tony Chatri's?
Yeah, he loves anything with Tony Chatri's on it.
Yeah. I saw a recipe. I wanted to do a crab boil.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, my connection to Louisiana for getting craw is gone.
Yeah.
So last time I was able to get a good bucket of craw was through him.
You can get crawfish through Costco now.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just has to be at the right time.
It just looks so good. Like a good crab boil.
Yeah.
When it hits the...
It's called a low country boil.
But we need the big pot, the big strainer.
Mm-hmm. We need all the toys.
Gotta have all the toys in order to do one.
Okay, so I have a float of orange flame on one side of these berries. And I intentionally did not move my surface while I did this so that I have all the highlights in the right place. And I've left that little space on one side. So now I'm going to put the shadow on the opposite side. So I'm going to flip this over so that I can... And I'm going to thin out a little bit of soft black. And this is my shading color on my berry. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the highlight. I'm going to leave a little tiny space. And it's thin, little tiny space. And I'm going to go about half that berry so that those two floats almost line up. Tiny little space, leave that gap. And this is going to help make your berries look more spherical. They're going to have a lot more dimension this way. So there's that soft black, and already those berries are starting to pop off the surface. But you have to thin out that soft black. There we go. Almost there. These work up really quick. And then we're going to brighten that highlight on our berries. So all our berries have got their shading in. And now I'm going to grab a little bit of warm white, going to thin it out. Really thin it out. We don't want this color full strength. And then we're going to just put a small float right over the orange. And it's just a small one. We're not covering the whole thing. I'm trying to aim for the upper left of that surface.
Got a flock of wild turkeys at our corn pile this morning.
Oh my God.
Well, you got yourself a good shotgun.
Thanksgiving be taken care of.
Thanksgiving taken care of. And if they're what? Some turkeys are really dumb.
No, not some.
No, some turkeys
No,
are dumb.
turkeys are dumb. They're the... So I swear to God, are some of the stupidest creatures God ever poured breath into.
I don't know. I've met some people.
Poultry is pretty thick. So I've got a little float, little short abbreviated floats, just a little stroke on the upper left over that orange. And then we're going to put a light impact point on each of these berries with a little dot of white. And I'm just going to use my liner for this. I better dry these first.
Turkeys can be...
They can, and poultry in general can be really spiteful.
Ma doesn't like chicken.
I love chicken, barbecued, fried, you know.
Dead.
Poultry, they're just spiteful creatures. So I'm going to, on the highest point, on that white, I'm going to put a dot of warm white. Just like so. Always in the same location all the way around because I want to keep that light source coming from one direction. Comme ça.
Whoa. From northern France, late, but I'm here at last. Wow. That's Patrick.
Patrick. Patrick's a school teacher, I believe.
In northern France.
Yes.
Wonder what he's teaching out there. Probably English.
So, I've got that highlight on those berries. So now look how they pop off that surface.
Yeah, they do.
When you get that shadow, they really jump off that surface. So we've got that nice bright white. And so now we're going to start putting in some stems, and this is really simple. We're not doing anything elaborate. So you can literally take a little thinned asphaltum or thinned plantation pine or thinned matcha green to do all of those stems. It's entirely up to you. I like matcha green because I like the brighter green. And I'm just going to thin it out with a little Joe Sonia's. And although all of those lines are showing, let's do this here. I keep it really thin and really light just to connect all of these leaves like so. But something I have started doing in the last few years, I really like having these leaves look a little bit more lacy. So I tend to like to put little scriggly lines around them. So I'm going to connect them this way. So when I finish my leaves, I like going around them like this. And if you've been painting any of my stuff, you know I like this. So little veins, lines, little tiny branches. Keep it loose. They don't have to be perfect. Perfect is boring.
Yep. Teaching English as a second language. Used to be a translator, but not a fan of freelancing.
Patrick Penefus.
Don't blame me on the freelancing part.
No. And it's Patrick, not Patrick.
Yeah, it's Patrick.
It's Patrick. Just like your name isn't Rennie. It's
Yeah.
Rennie.
Ooh, Cajun sausage.
Oh, you guys are making him hungry. And he's hard enough to feed as it is. You're killing me here. No.
It's easy to feed me.
Yeah, step on your foot and your mouth opens.
As long as it's good food.
Yes, well. You're a food snob.
A bit. I've come to realize I'm a bit of a food snob.
Yeah, I know you're a food snob. You're my son.
Don't get me wrong. If I have to, in a pinch, McDonald's satisfies the hunger pains.
Ugh.
In a pinch.
Yeah.
But if I'm driving down the highway and I see McDonald's or a little hole-in-the-wall burger joint, I'm going to the little hole-in-the-wall burger joint. Because usually their burgers are the best.
That's quite true, especially.
Yes, you're paying $12 for a burger, but it's worth it.
It is.
You're getting quality. And you're getting fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So I'm just going to finish out this. And you can see I'm not, I do not worry too much about whether or not these lines are perfect. They don't really have to make sense. As long as they're eventually connected somehow, that's all that really matters. And it's up to you how you want to handle detailing these leaves. If you want to do them just as they are, that's absolutely fine. That's entirely up to you. But I'm kind of partial to things having these little curlicues, and you know, I like my leaves to have a little texture. I don't worry about, you know, how perfect it is, because they're leaves. There's no two the same anyway. And it's just a fun way to embellish things. Now, I talked about earlier about how you can make this look a bit more full. this looks nice and lacy and loose, and that's fine. You see that a lot. But I like to see things a bit more full. And so I put in little shadow leaves. And that I do with a little thin asphaltum. And I just tuck a few in here and there. So I have just a little asphaltum on my brush and some water. So these leaves are going to be very transparent. And you're just going to tuck them in here and there. And you can bring them in close or you can have them come out. And it's just a little S stroke done with your angled shader. And these little shadow leaves just visually fill up space a little bit. So it just makes it look a little fuller without adding too much weight or visual weight to it. So it just gives it a little more depth. So I'm going to dry them. And then you can do it again, and you can make them various darknesses. Some can be dark, others can be very, very light, almost not there. And it will start to fill up the space. Just like that. And it just lends a little more interest, makes things appear a little more full. And I like that look. I like it when things have that a little bit more body to them. I've still got a little too much water in this brush. There we go. And as I said, these are just little simple S strokes. And you can just tuck them in wherever, all the way around a wreath.
Apparently, I have to go to New York.
Yeah, I've been telling you that for years.
One, I don't like concrete jungles.
I know. But you'd love New York.
Mainly for the food.
Yeah.
That would be my sole reason for going to New York.
Yeah, you'd love New York.
One, I hear the...
You can't swing a dead cat in New York without finding a great restaurant.
Well, not only that, but the food carts.
Oh, yeah.
I hear like some of the best hot dogs come from food carts, some of the best breakfasts come from food carts.
Some of the best food comes from food carts.
So,
little food trucks all over Manhattan and all over New York City. They're fabulous.
what I understand, that would be the only reason for me to go to New York is just go to different food carts and vans and restaurants.
So, I know somebody's bound to ask. Let me show you what a S stroke is. I talk about this, but, and it's a good thing to practice, especially with an angled shader. An S stroke is like this. So on the chisel edge, you would pull down on a diagonal, and then you'd pull the stroke this way, and then again on the thing. So it creates an S. And then you're going to shorten that to form leaves. Until eventually you just end up with these little diamonds. So these are your little leaves. So then you can do them like this. And then with a liner, you can connect them. So those are your little shadow leaves. So you think of it as this, elongate, pull down, and elongate. Pull down, and elongate. And then shorten that stroke. That's how you get those little shadow leaves. It's a super easy technique. It just takes a little bit of practice.
My son went to NYU and has become a bagel snob.
Oh, that's the equivalent in this country is going to Montreal.
Well,
Go to Schwartz's to get bagels.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta go to Schwartz. There's something about the water in Montreal that makes the best bagels. And I'm sorry, I've had great bagels in New York, but they still don't touch Montreal bagels.
No?
No.
Uh-oh.
There'll be a battle royale now. The battle of the bagels. But yeah.
If anybody wants to send food,
Oh, God alone will save you, people. Once you start feeding him, you know, he's like a stray cat.
don't go away.
Don't touch me. You can feed me. Don't
Yeah, touch me. Yeah. So I'm going to dry this real quick, and then we're going to transfer our lettering on. And how you do this is entirely up to you. If you prefer it with the lines going horizontally, then by all means. But I think I'm going to do them vertically. I kind of like that look, so I'm going to do it vertically. So I have my Be Kind. This is one of the fonts that is included in that new alternate lettering. I just updated. I found the other one was a little dated and a little too simple, and it just needed some oomph. So I'm going to center that, roughly center that on my wreath. Right about there, I think, should do the trick. And I'm going to tape it into place. Hey, I can use that piece of tape that I screwed up. Right there. So a little bit of blue painter's tape. Put that down. Just like that. And now what?
I feed stray cats, and they're exactly the same. I'd love to feed them, but not touch them.
Yep.
Yep. Can't touch me, but you can feed me.
You can feed me, don't touch me.
Yeah. Prices for food?
Prices for food. Now we've started something.
Yeah. Gotta be good food.
It has to be good food. Yeah, he's, like I said, he's a food snob. And this is crooked.
Why is it crooked?
Because I put it on crooked.
Why'd you put it on crooked?
It wasn't intentional.
No.
There we go.
Glasses on?
Yes. Be careful. Don't forget who's feeding you.
Right.
There we go.
I've told you multiple times, I can feed myself.
I know you can.
Just remember who made pho.
Yeah.
It took all damn day, but I made pho.
So I'm going to trace Be Kind onto here. I really like this font. This one, I believe, is called Alicia.
Alicia?
Alicia. I bought the license for this one the other day. I just think it's a really pretty little font. And I'm going to use my red Uniball to trace around my lettering. I love this red Uniball. This was just such a great idea. Because now I can see where I've been. And I'm using white graphite. We'll know in a minute if that was a good choice.
My friend always gets me Montreal bagels when she's there.
Mmm.
Yep,
Montreal bagels are the best.
It's all the chemicals.
Especially as you go to I don't know what it is about the water in Montreal, but they make the best bagels.
Alright, time to spin the wheel of names.
Oh, here he goes again. Beverly Sils. Oh,
That's a lot of vowels.
it is a lot of vowels. I'm going to say this wrong, Beverly, and I'm so sorry. It's Silski? Silskis. Oh my gosh. I can't wrap my tongue around that one.
Ciesieslski.
SKI. Wow.
You're an artist.
So I apologize if I've, completely tortured your last name, but
Beverly.
Beverly. Darling, go into the front page of my website, click on the little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner, and then send us a message with your shipping information, and we will get your Dynasty wave ankle brushes out to you. They're faux squirrel angles. So they're a nice brush. I gotta check to see if this is working.
It's a lot of vowels.
Yes, it is. There we go.
Nope.
Ceciliski? Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it going. It's hard to
I'm
tell.
usually pretty good at pronouncing some names, but every once in a while...
No one ever gets it right, she says.
Well, I can commiserate.
But you won.
But you won, so
Some goodies in there.
there's goodies in everything. I have a whole bunch of goodies here to give away over the next few weeks.
She sold the C6 sea serpent.
What? Cecil.
She sold the C6 sea serpent.
Okay. Say that 5 times fast.
Nope.
So I'm just going to quickly finish off this, transferring this lettering. It's going to look a little rough, but we'll clean it up. There's too many curves in this one, so I can't really use a ruler to get them nice and straight. Ordinarily I would. Some of these vertical lines are not actually straight. Here we go. So I think
My maiden name was what?
so Ceciliski was an improvement?
No.
What was the last name?
I
You got nothing?
no.
Okay, so I think we have our lettering on. Ooh, pretty. Yeah, I like this font for this.
Because every pronunciation I come up with for that last name or that maiden name doesn't sound good.
Okay. And I can't see it from here, so, which is probably...
Cukrowicz.
Okay.
I'm guessing Polish.
Polish or Ukrainian or...
Polish, Ukrainian.
We used to live in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We were accustomed to seeing a lot of Ukrainian names, but that doesn't mean we were had the ability to pronounce them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint this lettering. I'm going to use a little bit of warm white for this. And I'm using a number 2 rigger.
Yeah, they're Polish.
Yep, Polish names. And I'm going to start at the top of the letter. And press down until that brush opens up and fills that space. And then I'm going to release it. I don't have anywhere near enough paint in this brush. So it was doing weird and wonderful things. There we go.
Just bought a light box from Amazon, only $15. It's wonderful. Thanks for the suggestion.
You know, those light tablets are fantastic. I keep one right on my painting table. And I have a great big one. Actually, I have a very expensive one on my drawing table. Mine is an Artograph light tablet. They range about $300 to $400, and it is fantastic. But the one that I keep on my painting table is this one. Inexpensive. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them in a variety of places. These ones they come with a little plug-in. Some are cordless. This one is not. This one here. But these ones work really, really well. You just press on it. It will gradually get brighter. Some you can change the light temperature. Some of them you can shut off and adjust how much light you want. I love that it's got measurements on the top and the side. And it's a perfect size for working on the painting table because most of the time we're working on 8.5 by 11, and this is the ideal size. So if you ever have the opportunity to pick one of those up at a reasonable price, do it. You will not regret it. It makes a huge difference in the quality of your tracings.
I missed the beginning of the broadcast. Have you decided to drop the bees?
Nope, we haven't done the bees yet. We're doing things in layers today.
To add dimension.
So I'm just going to paint the lettering. I thought that this would be a fun font for this, just to update it a little bit. And again, I'm using that number 2 rigger, and it's loaded with warm white. And I'm using the brush on the chisel edge, press down till it opens up and fills the space. And then you can use that chisel edge of the brush, tap that.
How can I get the new font? I already have the pattern.
The new font, if you've had the pattern for a while, just send me a quick message. I'll email you yeah. Send me a message. I will be happy to email you the alternate lettering.
Lori wouldn't mind. Just bought one on Amazon.
They're fantastic. It saves you a lot of eye strain. It saves you time because you're not having to constantly check your line drawing to make sure you haven't missed anything.
Well, how many settings does this got? This has got
That one
warm,
has
cold.
That one has multiple temperatures and multiple strengths as far as the light is concerned. I love that one, but it's also a very expensive one. It's an Artograph.
Don't press that button. That button, bright.
Yep.
Wow.
But once you start working with a light tablet or a light table, it makes a world of difference on the quality of your line drawings, especially when you're tracing. And it saves so much eye strain because it's got a very soft light with that LED backlit. It's really, really nice. So it's much easier on the eyeballs. So if you already have this pattern in your stash, just send me off a message do it from the website. Don't do it from Messenger because it might be days or weeks before I see it. I get bombarded on Messenger, so sometimes it's too much. I try to answer them, but some days it's just way too much. So if you need something, it's guaranteed I'm going to see it if you send it through the website because it comes directly to me. And I try to answer those messages as quickly as I can. Some days it's a little overwhelming, but I do eventually get through all of them. So I'm almost done with this lettering. And I think that this is a prettier font for this. It's a little more lacy. The older font was a little chunky looking, and I prefer this newer. Like I said, that's the difference between 2013 and now. There we go. And if you feel your lettering is looking a little peaky, not quite opaque enough, don't be afraid to go back over it. It's not going to hurt. So I'm going to dry this real quick. And then we're going to shade this lettering. Now ordinarily I would have shaded behind the lettering before I floated, but I didn't this time. But that's okay, because I'm just going to do it with a little bit of asphaltum. And I'm going to thin it out. I don't want this color full strength because it's a little obnoxious. So I'm just going to put a little float in here on the lettering. Not too strong. I don't want it that heavy. It's just a little bit, all on the right-hand side. Just like so.
Print them out right on tracing paper.
Yeah. My printers do not like tracing paper. And I don't use tracing paper, so that's another thing. I have never cared for it, so I have never used it. So I have a tendency, I only will make a photocopy of my line drawing and then I will just use that. But while I'm designing or tracing, I use a light tablet, regardless. I just find better accuracy. I'm not having to go back over and find lines and figure out where I've missed, or having to retrace, because I absolutely detest having to do that. So I use a light tablet. Even when I'm creating things, I use a light tablet so that I'm not having to, fix things 100 times. So there we go. I've almost done with my shading.
I bought something that looks like a rigger here in France. It's not the same brand as Tracy uses, but I hope it'll help for lettering.
If you can press it down and get a square edge, it will work.
What are you talking about having the new font for?
The original pattern actually used a different font altogether. This is from the original line drawing. So it had a very chunky font, and it was okay, but I wanted something a bit more contemporary and a bit more modern. So I uploaded to the website, so anybody that ordered the pattern could also download. There's 3 or 4 pages of different fonts that you could use for it. So if you want those new fonts and you already have the existing pattern, just let me know. Send me a message through the website. Go to the website, down in the lower right hand corner of the front page, little speech bubble. Just click on that and send me a message. Tell me you want it, and I'll be happy to email that to you so that you can have the PDF with the new line drawings, or the new lettering, sorry. There we go. So I've got my shading behind my lettering, and I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to take out my my Factus Black, my favorite eraser. And I'm going to quickly clean up some of these graphite lines.
For the class on Tuesday, what can I substitute for Scarlet Red?
Scarlet, Red Alert will work just fine. As long as you've got 3 or 4 values of red, you should be fine. So I'm using a Factus Black to remove that graphite lines, and so we don't have any white lines showing around that lettering. It crisps things up, cleans them up, so everything looks nice and tidy. And it gets rid of some of those black, ugly black graphite lines that make everything look unfinished. And you'll notice it does not damage your paint. It doesn't smear the graphite everywhere. It all comes off very easily. I love my Factus Black erasers.
The light tablet she uses is a LightPad Pro 1200 TM.
Yeah, that's
My
the
Artograph.
Artograph.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they can also use that smaller one. My Artograph is a big one. It's like 14 by 14. It's a big square one. It's also sits at an angle. It has pucks to elevate it. It is an expensive one. They run in the $250 to $300 range, but they are absolutely fabulous. They have a tempered glass cover. It's a fantastic piece of kit, and made in the USA. It's a really great piece. So I've got my graphite lines off. I'll probably go back in and
YouTube is not receiving enough video to remain smooth streaming. Such. What?
are you guys still seeing us and hearing us?
Error. We just got. Is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Enough video? What?
Signal?
I don't know.
So, is anybody still seeing us, or?
It says stream status poor.
Okay, you're still seeing us, so we're going to keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
So, our next step is to start putting in our bumblebees. Now, the bumblebees are these little doodles. You see them on the supply page. I did it this way so that you can arrange them however you choose. Now, I like to put them so that they overlap the lettering a little bit. I think it just gives them the finished piece a little more depth when your bumblebees, are not just stuck in very specific locations. So, and I change the angle that they go at. So I'm going to put this one here. I want it so that the wing just slightly overlaps the lettering and that the bee overlaps that wreath. And I'm going to, again, use that red. I love this red uniball. I just think that this was a brilliant idea. And I give Carol Manhart the credit for this one because this thing is flippin' brilliant. I can see where I've been. And I just lightly trace my bumblebee on and make sure I see all the stripes, all the burrs.
I sometimes look forward to the short glitches or pauses. It lets me catch up a bit.
There, so I've traced on my bumblebee. I'm not worried about too many of the little details. I just want to make sure that the general shape is in there. So I've got one there, and I want one. I don't like them straight up and down, so they've got to be, at a bit of an angle. So I'm going to tuck one down here, and then the other one will be up here somewhere.
Okay. Wheel of names.
Oh, he's back at it. Wheel of names. So, yeah, just a quick.
Beth Root.
Beth Root! He likes that thing because it makes noise.
I like it because I don't have to type in a bunch of names all the time.
There's that too. So there is my second bumblebee. And I think my third one is going to be sort of facing down at an angle. And right about, maybe I want them in a bit. So there. I'm going to tuck it in there. So this is the fun part, is that you can choose where you want to put things. And I love my bumblebees. I have a weak spot for bumblebees. And these little guys are super easy to paint. They're not Not difficult at all to paint.
Oh, one of our winners, Lori,
Lori?
can't paint for a few days. I had a fight with my glue gun, and it won.
Oh no.
I have burns all over my finger.
Oh, ouch. I've done that. Those burns are so painful. Lori, I'm so sorry. I've done that. I had mine vomit all over my hand one time. It was a misery. 2nd-degree burns, man, they're miserable. I've had 3rd-degree burns too. That's also miserable. Okay, so I have all my Bumblebees traced on. These guys are super easy to paint because most of it is just lampblack. And then we need a yellow.
They're better than spiders.
Anything's better than spiders. I hate spiders. I don't like spiders. I posted my thought for the day the other day that I thought there was a spider in my bed, but it was just lint. It's dead lint. Does anybody have a bed for sale? Because I picked up a piece of lint one day off of my bed thinking it was lint and it wasn't.
Yeah, oh, right.
And yeah, that didn't go well.
Traumatized her.
Oh yeah. So now I don't touch lint. Somebody says there's lint on the floor. You deal with it. I'm not touching it. Because the last time I picked up lint, it moved.
It moved, it grew legs.
Yeah, it sprouted legs. And then it didn't want to let go. So, not a good thing. And I don't cope well with that type of trauma. It ain't pretty, let me just say. So all of the
pictures of the burning houses.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's because there was a spider in the house.
Yep, that's me. As far as I'm concerned, take it to the ground.
I saw a spider. No, it
I saw-
escalated quickly.
It did escalate quickly, yeah. Because that's me. I hate spiders. And then, one of my friends in Australia sends me a photograph of spider season.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
With the note, you should come and visit. No, I wouldn't last 5 seconds in Australia. Because I don't do spiders. Just like Denver, Colorado. I found out that tarantulas migrate through Colorado.
What?
I read that somewhere that tarantulas migrate through portions of Colorado, and I went, nope. Colorado is a beautiful state, but nope. Not going back.
Anybody from Montana?
Now, there's a state I'd love to go see.
I keep seeing pictures of Montana, and I'd love to live there. It's gorgeous.
I'd go to Montana just so that I could go see Kevin Costner.
You want to go to his ranch.
I want to go to Yellowstone. It's, I love the idea I love that show. It's great. But I love it. I can sit and watch that show because of the views. Like,
No kidding.
Wow. It's gorgeous.
And then there's winter.
And then winter's okay. We've lived in Winnipeg. We can handle it.
Montana winter? Really?
Yes. We lived in Winnipeg. We can handle it.
Yeah, that's...
So I like doing all these little legs. The legs are just like little dabs of black paint. Little dots, basically. Nothing overly challenging. They're just little dots. Same with the feet. Like all those little details, they're just little dots of black paint. And I don't worry too much about the accuracy because we're going to get rid of all of those graphite lines anyway. And we need little antennas.
Oh no.
Oh no, what?
Montana's summers are short, warm, and mostly clear. Winters are freezing and partly cloudy,
So
and mostly dry year-round. Over the
like
course of the year, the temperature typically varies from negative 11 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, and is rarely below negative 22 degrees Celsius or above 34.
piece of cake.
Oh, that's livable.
That's very
I
livable.
could live there.
Yeah. That's like a winter here.
Yeah,
Except dry.
except with more forests and hills and more plains.
Well, they have
Whereas here
more
it's
plains in
mainly
Montana. Here it's mainly trees.
forests.
Yeah. So I've got all the black in, so now I'm going to base coat the wings. The wings are simple. There's nothing really elaborate about these pieces. This is just warm white on these wings. This is what's going to make these little guys stand out. Now, 1 or 2 coats is all you really need for this. So there's our wings.
Average high, -1.
In the wintertime,
Yeah,
la-di-da.
no kidding.
Like I said, we're Canadian, lived in Manitoba. We can handle a Montana winter.
That looks nice.
There's some beautiful places in the U.S.
Montana is amazing.
Oh, I would imagine. One of my favorite places in the U.S., I gotta say, is in Oregon. I absolutely loved Oregon when I was there. Everything about it. The people are fabulous. Some of my favorite people are there.
If I were to live anywhere in the States, I think it'd either be Texas or Montana.
It's because of the gun laws.
Yep. Texas or Montana, because they're pretty close on the same gun laws. But Montana's a little bit more
Liberal?
no, not liberal. More. I was thinking weather-wise,
Oh, okay.
where they actually have seasons.
Temperate.
Temperate. Thank you. You know, they have a winter. They get snow. You know, even though it's a short winter by the looks of it, 3.2 months of winter.
Oh, yeah, that's like 10 months shorter than ours. Sorry.
Yeah, November to end February.
Well, it's about the same.
Yeah, it's about the same here.
Yeah.
Western Montana is very beautiful. Montana definitely lives up to the nickname Big Sky State,
Yes.
at least in summer.
Big sky country. Yeah.
Big Sky Country.
That's how I feel about Colorado. Colorado is just beautiful. But Oregon, I don't know. Oregon to me is just a beautiful state.
Oregon, yeah.
It is. It's just beautiful. And the people in Oregon are fabulous. Every time I've been there, I've just loved it.
We go to Helena to sapphire mining.
Sapphire mining in Helena. Pretty. Okay, so I've got my wings base coated. I'm gonna dry this real quick.
It's mainly the gun laws. It's the gun laws. They're a little bit more liberal with the gun laws in both Montana and Texas. More so Texas.
So yeah. You'd be too hot in Texas.
Yeah, I don't like heat.
You are your mother's son.
I don't-
There's no doubt about
I don't like my feet being cold, but at the same time, I don't like sweaty feet. And I'm not a fan of flip-flops. So...
I live in flip-flops. Because I don't like heat, period. I can't find my sunny day.
Last February, we got a shocker here in Houston. The lowest we ever got was 7.
It was Burr. They got snow in Texas last
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
We have winter, warm, hot, and hotter.
Yeah. See, we have 10 months of winter and 2 months of bad snowshoeing.
No. We have 8 months of winter.
Yeah.
And 4 months of construction.
That's true. So the bumblebees, I'm using a little bit of Sunny Day. I can't remember for the life of me what I used in the original pattern, but I'm using a little bit of Sunny Day because I can't find another bright yellow to work with. So Sunny Day it is. And I'm just painting the alternate stripes. You notice I'm not being too neat and tidy about it. I want these to look a little ruffled.
They're bumblebees.
They're bumblebees. They're going to look a little fuzzy butt bumblebees. That's the word I was looking for.
Bumblebee.
Fuzzy butt bumblebees. So, I'm just literally filling in this space with a few strokes. I'm just using my 15-aught. You can use a rigger, a liner, a small round, whatever works for you. And again, I'm not worrying too much about the neat and tidy, because quite honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. So there we go. Fuzzy butt bumblebees.
We're getting closer and closer to snow season.
We are.
I can't wait to put the skis on Nuts. Wheelchair.
I can't wait for winter.
It's gonna be
I'm
great.
looking forward to the first fire of the season.
You can have a fire.
Yeah, but not without roasting us at a house and home.
Well, you can have a fire. You just gotta wait a little bit more before the snow shows. Like, a fall fire is nice.
Yeah.
Because you can be outside
That's true.
and have a fire and be comfortable.
Yeah.
And not, wrapped up in 28 blankets and
Yeah.
hopefully you don't catch fire because you dropped your flaming marshmallow on your blanket.
Yeah. You're speaking from experience?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
Luckily it was one of those fleece. It wasn't a cotton fleece.
Okay, so it didn't burst into flames, it just
didn't burst
melted.
into flame, it just melted.
Okay, good.
But I didn't have a marshmallow for my s'more.
Aw, poor Muffy. A tragedy.
And no bugs.
That's
There
true.
is that,
There is
yes.
that. No bugs. Although I noticed the other night that we had bats. The bats are still out and about.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's okay. They're eating what's left of the bugs. And Dad got rid of the big spider that was keeping me in the house.
My idea of cold is 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Somebody lives in Florida.
And no black flies.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a
I
perk.
can live with the black flies.
We didn't have a lot of them this year, but
No.
man, they were hungry. The ones we did have. Okay, so I've just about got all my bees base coated.
Somebody doesn't like snakes. You don't want to see my tattoo then.
Yeah.
I have a tattoo of a Afghan viper on my arm. I like snakes. Snakes are cool.
I like bees. Bees are cool. I have bees on my leg. I have these bees on my leg. And dragonflies. I have a dragonfly on the other leg.
Keep a fire extinguisher with you, right? I just stomped it out. It wasn't that bad. I have never set myself on fire.
Wasn't for the lack of trying, apparently.
I, however, have electrocuted myself multiple times.
Yeah.
I do not like doing electrical work,
Okay,
especially
so
on vehicles.
bees.
All I can say is there is a old military iltis at a museum with my dog pegs welded to it.
There we go. All right, so I've got all my base coats on my bees. And before I start detailing them, I want to put a shadow underneath these bees. And you have to remember your light source. My light source is coming from up here. So that means my shadow is going to be on this side. And I'm going to do that with a little bit of asphaltum. So if my light source is up here coming this way, that means my shadow is going to be this way. So I want to put a little shadow underneath my bees, like so.
Hmm?
And that's the thing you have to keep in mind when you're doing something like this, is always remembering where your light source is, so that you get the shadows in the right place. So this way, so my shadow is down on this side.
So beautiful. I'm feeling very inspired, but not until I vacuum the house.
Yeah, well, you know what? That way the guilt doesn't get to you, doesn't impede on your creativity. There's nothing worse than trying to be creative and you're always in the back of your mind, I have to get this done, have to get that done. So
June bugs are lethal.
yeah,
Yeah,
they are.
if you ride a motorcycle, they can hurt like
Yeah.
a bejeebus.
Bejeebus. And we're trying to find the right word.
Yeah, well, the other word I didn't want to say.
Yeah.
They
So
hurt.
I've got my shadow in. And I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow underneath my bees as well, just to lift them off of that wreath. But I wanted to get that drop shadow in first. There we go. Okay, so I want to get a little bit of a shadow in just to lift this off of the surface a little bit. And it's just a weak shadow, just enough to separate the leaves from the bees.
So far, everything's going.
So there we are. And we're ready to start painting out these bees. So on the body of the bee, on the thorax, or the abdomen, which is this lower portion here, I'm going to put a float of that bright orange over that yellow. And I'm going on the shaded side of the bee, so down and away from the light source, like so. And I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to do it again because I don't think it's quite dark enough in a couple of spots. Right here. There we go. That's better. A little more. I like that little punch of orange. And then we're going to shade that again using a little asphaltum.
They're lethal because if one gets on me, I'm climbing whatever is near me to get away from it. If it's on top of your head, well, be it. Okay. June bugs are harmless.
Yeah, June bugs, beetles, bugs, things like that don't bother me. Spiders, on the other hand.
Arachnostethicus.
Yeah, that's an accurate name for them. Because one of us is going to die. And I'm hoping it's the spider. I loathe those things. There's no other word for it.
The
think Tracy should teach a class on her winter.
On my winter?
On her winter? Oh, winter owl?
Oh my
It's
God.
an owl emoji. Okay, I didn't get the emoji on this side.
My winter owl. That would be a fun piece to do. I gotta dig that pattern out. That's an old one. So I've got the shading on the body. Now I'm going to come up to the wings. I like to put, this is just a little float of Bahama blue right where the wings join the body.
Oh, text messages. Ooh. Our B boss.
Just let me know when I have to be at work.
Okay.
Even though I knew when time I had to be at work.
So just a weak float, and it's just, you can put it just in this little section here close to the body. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't even have to be all that dark. It's like that.
We're getting a lot of, ooh, I love owls. Yeah, you won't love owls if you hear what they do to rabbits. Or raccoons.
They eat them. I love owls. Owls are awesome. So I'm gonna draw my bumblebees.
Owls are quiet psychopaths.
Yep.
Because they will leave the head of whatever they got for dinner to their places as a warning for their territory.
Yep.
They put effigies out.
So I'm going to add a highlight to the black portions of our bee with a little bit of thinned warm white. So it's not super fancy. It's just a little stroke here. Don't forget those little round sections. It's at the top edge of each of those segments, like so.
I've seen it. I'm good with it.
Renee's come across their
effigies.
Their effigies when he's out walking Dot.
Yeah.
We're
Big gray one. I know he's in the area.
yeah, we have a great big horned owls. We have a lot of owls in our area. We have a lot of birds of prey in our area because of the bird sanctuary. So
yeah.
So I'm just putting that little float on the black portions. And then I'm going to take that same angled shader, and on this highlight side, I'm just going to tap a few lines just for texture on the fuzzy part of our bee. Just like that. So it's going to be a little irregular. Neatness doesn't count for that. Just a little.
It would have to be a pretty big owl to eat our raccoons.
Oh, there's some really big ones out here.
Yeah. Like fly off with your dog, big.
Yep. We have bald eagles. We also have red-tailed hawks and brown eagles.
We got a couple peregrines too.
Yeah.
I've
Falcons.
heard them.
Yeah, we have falcons out here. So just tapping in that highlight using the chisel edge of the angle, and it's just a little bit of thinned warm white. So it just creates a little bit of texture. You're not looking for a perfect float. We're just putting in a little texture. And it goes right over the yellow, right over the black. So they're going to look a little fuzzy, like so. And then I'm going to take my liner brush and a little bit of thinned warm white, just thin so it moves off of the brush.
We have vultures. No, we have turkey.
We
vultures.
have turkey vultures here, yeah. And then on the highlight side of those bees, remember where our light source is coming from this upper right point. Remember the light impact points on here? Well, they're going to go on the bee too. Whoops, a little too much. So little stroke on each segment. I'm going to do the same to the legs too, just tiny little dots. So always on that highlight side, always keeping in mind where your light source is coming from.
Oh, I can stop thinking about that video. The woodpecker and the satellite dish.
Oh yeah. I have still, every time I see that, I almost cry laughing. It's so funny.
The guy was so upset. He's trying to sleep. You know, woodpecker is just going to town on a satellite dish. It's hilarious.
So I've got all my highlights in place, and again, they're fairly rough. I'm not looking for real perfection, but now I get to add some fun details to these bees, and I do that with my Uniball, that gel pen. I like these little scribbly lines on the outside of the wings, and again, they're not perfect, just sort of scribbly, a few little details. And I do the same thing to the body as well. Just come down onto this, add those little scribbly lines and those little scribbly details to the body of your bee. I like the little details. I like the little scribbly thing. It's just, it works for me. It's just a fun way to detail things. As I said, I was sitting here playing with this older pattern and just thought it needed a little bit of an update. So I've added a few more recent things that I've begun doing. I added a few more updated colors. So don't forget, if you're part of the paid membership group, you've got a few more days yet to download your pattern. But we added the new challenge to the website, so you can go to the paid membership download section on the website and download your challenges. And we also posted a couple of new free patterns in there for you guys. So you've got some more stuff to do. And like I said, if you want the updated lettering for this piece, just send me a message. I'd be more than happy to send you the PDF. So I've got my sketchy little details done on my bees. I'm going to clean up a couple of things because there's a few little things here that I would like to fix up. If I can find my eraser. There it is. I'm going to clean up a couple of graphite lines there that are bugging me. And I'm going to thin out some matcha green because I want to finish up and add a couple of details that I haven't completed yet. I like, just these little squiggly lines around things. I just think it softens things. They look less structured, less hard-edged. A little more relaxed and a little more fun. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy. And you don't have to do it to all of them. You can do it to a few here and there, sporadically around the piece if you want. You can add more lines, more details. The other thing you can do is also add, little curlicues here and there. That just makes things look a little more lacy. Of course, it helps if you go in the right direction.
I can do spiders and snakes, but June bugs and crunchy critters?
Oh, hard-shelled bugs. See, I don't mind those. Like the spiders throw me off though. I can't deal with spiders. They just nope. They're high on my nope list.
My favorite are huntsman spiders. The little zebra striped ones.
Oh, the
ones
ones.
that teleport.
Oh yeah, little tiny ones.
Little tiny ones that jump.
The jump, yeah.
I like them.
I said the other day that it's just the only good thing God did about spiders is He didn't give them wings. Shut up. I don't. If there is one, I don't want to know about it.
Okay.
I don't want to know that there's a flying spider. Let's put it that way.
There's one that has whips.
I know. I've seen that one.
That one's cool.
It's like the
one with hands. What? That one creeped you right out.
Yeah. No, anything that starts to look like seafood, forget it.
Well, that's right.
I don't do spiders.
It actually has hands.
Yes, I know. Ugh. So that is our little Be Kind sign. I think this one is fun to do. It needed an update though. It is a fun one to do, but it needed the update. It needed funkier bees and it needed prettier lettering. I didn't care for the lettering that was in it. So the PDF is available. Like I said, if you want the updated lettering, feel free to.
I'm just adjusting before I switch. So
Okay.
You're still good.
If you want that, then feel free. Just send me off a message via the website and I'll be happy to send you the PDF.
Switchy.
Switchy switch.
There you go.
Okay. Well, that's it for this time around, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, you guys are amazing and appreciate you hanging out even through all of the glitchiness. YouTube's obviously having some issues today. So, thanks for sticking it out with us. We do appreciate that. Again, the pattern for this is available on the website. We put it on a lower price as well. I think it's only $5 on there. And don't forget to use your coupon. Create21 is up on that at the top bar of the website. So don't forget, you can look there every week for a coupon code. And if you want the updated line drawings, you already have this pattern. Again, hit the little messenger speech bubble on the front page of the website. We will be happy to email that to you. Coupon codes. There are a couple of them floating out there. So make sure you use them. We put them up there for you guys so that you can get a better deal on a lot of stuff. We have lots of stuff updated. We are fully stocked on everything right now. So whatever you need, if you need brayers or stencils or what have you, now is a great time. They put up a clearance section on the website. We have a bunch of stencils that we're discontinuing. Those have all been drastically reduced. So don't forget to check those out. And your coupon codes do work on all the clearance items, so don't forget about that. Paid members, you guys rock. You've been great about creating and putting up, really jumping in and doing a lot of those challenges. And the results have been absolutely phenomenal. I am so impressed, especially with the last one, number 6. We sent you a line drawing and gave you free reign to take it apart, do what you will with it. And you guys have been amazing. Some of the stuff you've been putting up is out of this world. I'm so proud of you. You've been doing amazing things with just pulling apart the line drawings and doing your own thing and using your own creativity. You're awesome. We have lots more coming. So keep your eyes peeled for what gets posted on there. We are posting on the community tab on the YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen it on there, it's also in the Facebook group. So you can find it there, and downloads are always available on the website under the paid membership download. So don't forget to click there once in a while to find out what's new, because we're always posting stuff. We posted a new pattern for you guys. That cute little pumpkin pattern is up there free for our members. And what else? Tuesday, 7 p.m. live. We have our class. We're painting the amaryllis and the ornaments. We're doing both on Tuesday. Sorry. Next Saturday, get ready for Halloween. We're going to be doing something for Halloween next Saturday.
Skulls.
A skull. I don't know if it probably have a skull in it, but it won't just be skulls. So we're doing something for Halloween next week. So hope to see you here. And as always, guys, thanks so much for joining us every week. We so appreciate it.
7 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
8 o'clock our time.
8 o'clock our time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will see, paid members will see you Tuesday night. Everybody else, we will see you right here next Saturday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Get ready for Halloween. We'll have that posted for you Monday. As always, mwah, love you and stay safe.